Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and welcome back to Tennis Manager 23. This is episode 36. We are at the US Open against the Russian Erika Andreeva. It's the second round. Our opponent, 29-20 on the season, essentially winning 60% or just shy of that. Not only is that her season record, but that's her career-long kind of win percentage. And wow, she gets a fortunate call on that first one, and that was a bit out, but I did change tactically, just a couple little tweaks, aiming to be a little more aggressive, aiming to push for the line a little bit more, aiming to push back our opponent a little bit more when they're aggressive, and we'll see if it pays off. I'm still not being over the top on sticking to the tactics, though, allowing her to deviate a bit, and she does deviate more than I would like. That is one area where she deviates constantly from what I would prefer. My tactic is when they attack the net, hit it away from them, hit it down the line, and she never does. Ever. She always hits it directly at them, which is not the tactic. We have a chance to break here, though, as the almost always, gosh, she's right on that line again. Not much of a power server, though, so lacking that power on the serve can give us a real opportunity, and we're able to break her in the first game of the first set of the second round here in the US Open. 15-0. I have almost been to where this tournament is hosted. For those familiar with New York, the New York Mets, the baseball team, their stadium is right across the street from where this is, and there's also, while there's a highway that runs through there, there's also train tracks that run through there, and I've been on that train on my way into Manhattan Island, going right past this area. Leading 3-1, that's a good start to things. If we can get another break, we would obviously be in the driver's seat for this first set. So, realistically, my hopes, as we are very evenly matched here, but we have form, better form than what she has, I do have hopes that we can come away with something, but at the moment, trailing 15-30, now 30 all. This is going to be a key game to keep that foot on the gas, and we get it. 4-2. And so as we're trailing off into the later portion of the season, so I've actually finally, through this game, I had been a tennis fan when I was a kid. Long time ago. Long time ago that was. Back when ESPN was still a new thing. And we have taken the first set, by the way.
Second set.
6-2, actually. Pretty dang comfortable. The newness of ESPN brought only a handful of sports. There was only so much money to go around while there was other sports out there. What they initially picked are not what are the major popular sports now. Or certainly not the variety of sports available as now. Tennis was and has been for a long time a major sport in the world, so it was one of the first things that ESPN picked up. Australian rules football, aka rugby, was a major world sport that got picked up fairly early. But outside of a few American sports, that was kind of it. And they favored heavily onto like equestrian stuff, which is, I mean, let's face facts here. It's almost entirely a rich white person's sport. Tennis is largely the same thing, and that's kind of where these gain traction on the socioeconomic ladder, right? These were the refined sports, and so they got the early attention until it turns out that other sports tend to be a bit more popular with the masses, such as football or soccer, as we call it in the U.S., has obviously become the biggest sport around the world, and ESPN and others got to those parties a little bit late. But anyway, here, 2 games all, by the way. I did finally get around to watching Breakpoint on the last episode of that now. Now they are trying to ride the coattails of Drive to Survive, the Formula One based documentary. Big time air quotes for that, because I mean, anyone who really knows Formula One knows that Drive to Survive is utter nonsense. It is manufactured drama. 95% of what you're seeing there, 90% of what you're seeing there is falsified accounts to dramatize the sport. And anybody who knows the sport properly knows that it's not authentic. Yes, they're taking real footage. Yes, they're taking real radio messages, but they mix and match how they see fit in a manner that suits their narrative that they want to push. They're following teams for one race a season, most of them, and then just ride hype train anywhere and everywhere they can, and often embellish, constantly embellish. Breakpoint doesn't have that same sort of feel, but it's the same flavor. It's very much presented in that same sort of manner that Drive to Survive, let's grow the sport kind of manner. But at least from watching it, and I don't have that insider's feel any longer, right? Because the time when I watched the sport as a kid has long since passed. 5 games all, by the way, here. Looks like we could be headed for a tiebreaker. Though it is deuce. Can we... Maybe not. Maybe not. Back to deuce again. Nope.
Advantage.
Just can't quite get on the front foot on this one, which makes me think we're pushing more for... Yep.
6 games to 5.
Pushing for tiebreakers now. Oh, great start to the
15 love.
game there, though. 15 love. Anyway.
4 second service.
From what I've seen, unlike Drive to Survive, that just constantly creates its own narrative, and I'm sure that there's elements that are embellished or pushed or designed to create drama, because drama sells.
Second service.
All right, the most
40 30.
controversial channels tend to be the ones that are most successful. When you just keep your head down and do your thing, even if you're doing it well, you tend to lag behind, and I feel like I'm more often than not one of those. Not to say that I've never spoken controversy, for those who follow my cycling, just even hinting that Roglic is not one of the top 3 in the world, but one of the top 6 in the world, right? Like, that he's lost this much. He's lost an ounce of what he was now in his mid-30s. An ounce was horribly controversial to the point that I actually lost like 5-10 subscribers that day, and there was a handful of people that were just so incredibly hurt by that suggestion. Lewis Hamilton, my all-time favorite F1 driver, all-time favorite. I will admit that he is not on it as consistently as before. Now, is that a product of the car's just not always there, and you always have to push to extract the most, and sometimes you'll push the setup in a way that's not going to allow you to extract the most out of it? Also, very noticeably, he focuses on race setup to get the most out of the car on race day and not qualifying. There's tracks where qualifying really matters, and you'll sacrifice your race setup because it's hard to overtake. But if you're driving a boat and you qualify well, even on those tracks, you're going to be overtaken if you don't at least have a balanced setup. Blazers, Dame Lillard, favorite player, has requested a trade. He's almost the player that he was. He just came off his best scoring season, but not his best season. didn't lift the team, didn't pull out the victories all the time, but he absolutely can contribute to a championship side at an elite level. Named to one of the 75 best players of all time. He's fantastic. He's asking out. It's fine. It's time. He's 99% the player he was, maybe 98%. He's holding up really well for the age and the number of years in the league. But even he, and even I, can admit he's lost 2%. It's normal. I don't know why that's so controversial to ever suggest to somebody. Why people get so hurt. But anyway, starting to get to know the sport again a little bit. We lose the set in the tiebreaker. We're going to have to go to 3. Chance to break. Oh my goodness. From up 15-40, we still couldn't. What we did in that first set and how we were able to break, just have not been able to replicate. That's the first game that we've lost comfortably, though I'll admit I wasn't looking terribly close there for a while. But we're up 5-3. There it is. We finally get a break, and we set ourselves up here for match point. All I was really hoping for out of this tournament was to get out of the first 2 rounds, get into the final 32. Oh, unlucky there as that one grazed the edge of the line, but do not get the call. It was tight. Maybe the right call, maybe not. It was very close, but here we are, 40-30, another match point. Our third already.
Deuce.
What's going on, Clarice? No killer instinct?
Advantage.
Finally, it goes to deuce. The pressure's suddenly off. It's no longer match point. And we just easily slam home.
Deuce.
But when we are in that finish it off mode, we just can't finish it off. And this is why. Wow. Oh my goodness. We just hit it up into the stands nearly. We hit that ball so long and so wild. And it was completely unforced. It was not a difficult to reach ball. It was straight at us. And we completely misplayed it. And there we go. So 3 match points. And we find ourselves losing entirely of our own volition. That was all shoot yourself in the foot stuff, and all of a sudden we could be right back to 5-4 or 5-5, that is, and no advantage any longer. Starting to look like we might go the distance. We were broke for the first time today when we had a chance to seal it. We go to 6-5. Will we get another chance to seal it with a break? Not looking good right now. On to the tiebreaker. So we were only broke once the entire day. And it was when we had a chance to put the match away from a comfortable position. Good first point.
Second service.
We've already lost 1 tiebreaker today, but we lead this one by 2 points. We've already got the mini break here. Can we get a full break? Get a commanding lead. A little defensive at the moment, but starting to get back onto the front foot, and that was on the line, you mother. Ah, that was so on the line without a doubt. Oh. I think I just broke my racket. Does Coach get a racket? No. Does Coach want a racket in that on that occasion? Very much so. Because now we trail 3-4. At the very least, 4-3, 5-3. That was an ace. We've had 2 calls. That was long. Half an inch, but it was long. We've had 2 calls go against us already in this tiebreaker. It should be 6-3. And now it's match point. Oh, I am so angry right now. So angry. Staying alive, though. Come on. Let's go. We went straight to her. We scored enough points to win this. It was 7-4. It's the U.S. Open. It's the U.S. motherfucking Open. And we can't get a call. We can't get a referee who's going to make an easy call. 2 balls clearly on the line, without a doubt, 100% in, and we don't get either one of those calls. We lose in tiebreakers twice. We won 6 games in all 3 sets, and yet we're going home. For me, this is the moment of truth. Rekakova has a chance to have a positive mental gain. Thurman has a chance at a positive mental gain. We were never going to win this U.S. Open. The points don't mean that much to me right now because Thurman's where she needs to be. What does mean a lot to me is that mental gain. If we don't have it, I'm going to be still furious. If we do get it, I can let it go. I can move on. I can let that anger subside because we'll get what we came for, which is the mental gain to make her better in future tournaments. Hobo's not gaining anything. She's been out injured, still rehabilitating. She gained nothing. Rekakova, nothing. Thurman, I'm ticked off, folks. I'm really, really angry right now because we won that game. We won. We won that tiebreaker. Both of those points were ours. Clearly in. We've had one key game where we lost a couple points at key moments a long time ago, last season, that I was upset about, but nothing like this. I have no doubt in my mind that both of those balls were in. No doubt in my mind that both of those points were ours, and that we won that tiebreaker 7-5. Those 2 points would have been the difference and would have been enough. Or 7-4 even, because that last point that she scored to win, it would have already been over before that. And Thurman does not get any mental growth for making it just to the second round. So here we are again, back on square one, and I'm pissed off. Hobo made the U.S. Open last year, got to, second round or something, so those points are now lost to her, and she falls to 100. So the injury has now dropped her below, and we suddenly have a real problem on our hands. Thurman's ranking goes nowhere for not getting out of the round of 64. This is a rough time. All of a sudden, things were so good. And just like that, 2 bad calls, and we've got a bit of a mess on our hands. Rekakova's still looking good, except for her shape is now weak. As she stepped up to higher level tournaments, finally lost one and early, and her form just fell apart. At least we finally found some form with Thurman. 6 tournaments played, 26 wins, 96% win rate, beginning with those 3 gimmies that finally saw us flip that form, but then going on to win a couple tournaments from there, and then getting us finally into the U.S. Open, and on not on the paper, but the reality, what should have been anyway, get through a couple rounds, should have made some real progress. Nice prize money during that stretch, but we're back up to 33rd. The only bad thing for Thurman now is that she's back into the mandatory tournament stage. Her ranking's high enough now to force her way in, so we are going to have to deal with that. It's going to see our form drop once again, but we're also coming up on the end of the year, where it's not going to matter as much. You just have to find a way to take care of things at the beginning of the season. Now, 3 of the 5 juniors that I was inviting to the World Cup were in the senior rankings, so I didn't know what their junior rank was. Well, now we know. 6, 9, 19, 26, and 28. Not as bad as we thought from before. A little bit better off. U.S. comes in ranked 5th. We're in the group stage. Argentina, Egypt, and Serbia are the opponents for this one. After the U.S. Open Juniors, suddenly our 5 players are all actually in really good form at this point. So that's good as we head into this. And I get to spend 8 points to practice a little bit with the team. So what is it that I want to work on? Well, physical recovery definitely seems like something we want to spend a little bit of points on, maybe 2, as a couple of them are tired from their efforts here. Team chemistry is already very good, but you want to at least maintain. So there's a point. 5 points remaining. Singles training matches are the most important. The doubles are your tiebreaker. So we're going to spend 4 points on singles and 1 point on the doubles, and hope that our singles players are good enough, strong enough to carry us through and not even see us have to get to doubles. Looks like Thurman did not get selected for the U.S. Last we saw, she was 6th in the U.S., so it looks like she comes up 1 spot short of selection. Hobo obviously not selected, but Rekarkova is going to represent the Czech Republic, one of the best nations in the sport, even though she's only 85th in the rankings. That's surprising. 3 days of training. Team chemistry is now excellent instead of very good, so that's great. Fitness has improved for Waddles and Bustos to 100%. Their shape is excellent, so players are well fit for the matches to come. The 3 Egyptian players look to be very down the rankings in the juniors. They're not even playing seniors. 233, 381, and 436 for the rankings. This should be a pretty easy win for us, meaning I'd like to kind of get everyone involved a little bit. We're going to give Nicole Brown single 1. We're going to go ahead and give Zoe Glossman single 2. And I guess we don't get a choice for the others yet. If it comes down to doubles, then we've got the others to pick from. 5 American players. This is their first ever selection for the World Cup Juniors. 2 of them have now turned 18 in Waddles and Bustos. This will be it for them. But Stearns, Brown, Glotzman should all have another chance next year. Egypt 12th in the ranking. Serbia is 16th. Those 2 should be straightforward for us. Might need a little bit stronger selection for Argentina, but we'll see what happens when we get to the selection for each of those. Expecting some easy play with Egypt, hopefully, and we do win the first one with one of our weaker players. Nicole Brown takes a win 6-4, 7-6. That's 1 down. Second match took 3 sets, but we do get through it. We lose the tiebreaker in the first one with Glotzman also taking the win. So our 2 weakest players have come out with a victory. Brown played one of the singles earlier in the day, but I'm going to have her play the doubles with Bustos as we are trying to preserve things a little bit for what's to come. At least one of the players that will be in this one are going to be on the weaker side, but this is also keeping us a little fresher for the later matches in the next couple of days, and I'm excited for that. Huge advantage. Number 9, number 26 players going at it versus a 436, 233 with no affinity, where we have 4-star affinity. This should be a pretty comfortable victory, finishing off Egypt, and it is 6-2, 6-4. Well done. We sweep the first, but we did lose 1 set along the way. That could be a factor as we go forward, but so far so good. Next up is Argentina. Argentina is definitely the better opposition that we're going to be facing out of the trio in the group with us. Their best player, though, is still only 85th, and then 106, 260, 324, and 327. We're going to have a firm advantage against all. Therefore, we are going to, once again, kind of set things up to be a little more on the favorable side. This, though, being the tougher match. So we're going to play the 2 that haven't played at all yet. Argentina lost to Serbia in the opener, so Serbia is +1, but they barely came out on top of that one, winning 2-1, and only +2 on sets. So already advantage is really in our favor. If we can knock off Argentina a second time, we'll just about have things locked. Not necessarily. Mathematically, it may or may not be done. Serbia do have 2 players ranked pretty high, 11 and 13. It's Argentina who are actually lacking. So Serbia is the better opponent that we're going to be playing. We'll have to keep that in mind as we go in. If we win both of these singles, we might have to play a weaker pair for the third. First one, very comfortable, 6-0, 6-love, 6-2, 29 winners to 14, 68% points won. Waddles easily takes it in her first match. Second time we've gone to 3 sets on this, but we do come out winners yet again. Still perfect through 5 matches played, and this will complete, even though we've still got the doubles match coming with Argentina, this will complete the 2-win sweep so far. Should see us through, but nothing's guaranteed just yet. Tiebreaker wise though, it's looking good for us. We should be fine. And so for those doubles, Bustos is looking really good, so we'll get her in. She's quite fresh, but let's maybe go with Nicole Brown again. Those two have that high affinity. 6-2, 7-5, and we have completed the sweep of Argentina. And next up is Serbia with the 2 higher ranked players that we're going to have to watch out for. Do they take them into the singles match? Do they play them in the doubles? I don't know, but we're going to go ahead and take our best for this one. Egypt came back and beat Serbia, so they are at 1-1. Argentina is already eliminated. Technically, not even yet, but theoretically, they'd have to be. Well, not necessarily. If Argentina sweep Egypt, they'd be a -1 at 1 and 2. Serbia, if we sweep them, they'll drop to 1 and 2 and be -3. So yeah, it could still go their way. Argentina can't get ahead of us though. Waddles comes away victorious 6-4, 6-3. We now only need to win one of the next 2 to win the group. Bustos has not come away victorious. We've taken our first loss 6-4, 3-6, 1-6. The doubles will decide this one. I'm going to go ahead and put Waddles with Stearns, as Bustos is a little upset after that performance anyway. So we'll go ahead and take our 2 next best. They have good affinity. Let's hope that that's the right call. And so for the final match of the group stage, it's a doubles. This one does determine the winner between us and Serbia. Does determine the group winner as we go through. Could impact the ranking or the seeding for the final, though it looks likely that we are going to get into the final based on our performance so far. But the 2 opponents here, they're the 2 weaker ones. So they played their 2 better ones in the singles, and they managed to actually split one. But then there's a massive drop-off after those 2. And these are those 2. Now they've played as doubles partners now 3 times and lost all 3. So this is a good opportunity for us. They are serving here though, so it would involve a break. Waddles, Stearns, not exactly our best matchup, not our best pairing. First time that they've played together. Almost forget that you're playing the wider court, the gutter, or the alley. Which one? What's it called? The alley or the gutter? Is in play here. We lose the first game, but now with service. That's wide. And 1 game all. Interesting to see the doubles in action. It's actually just the second time I've seen doubles in action. My first look video before the game was released is the only other time that I've actually been in a position to get in and play a doubles match under similar circumstances to what we have here. Not seeing any ball marks, so a little confusing, a little harder to follow at the moment. Ooh, double fault. That was awfully close. Chance to break here. That goes out. A little bit long. Deuce. Oh, and that's out as well. Shooting herself in the foot. Great chance to break here and get on the front foot. And then into the net. So no break here. With serve, we seem to be very comfortable, or at least we were in our first game. We come back 15-all. 15-30. Again, struggling a little bit. 15-40. What is going on? And we lose the game. We've been broke. That is pretty pathetic. Both of them have a lot more fatigue than what we have, so that's going to be one thing to keep in mind as we push on. We had advantage. We had a chance to get back into this thing and then mess it up again. So these two, not having any killer instinct, have been in that position multiple times already and just cannot finish games off. We do finally finish a game with serve to bring it back a peg, 2-4. But trailing 5-2, we are in a heap of trouble in this first set. Now 5 games 3. Clawing one back, but now we must break them to keep the set going. And we do. It's 4 games 5. That was a huge break there because now with serve, we could push it 5-5 and see this thing go to a tiebreak or push it to the break. And here we are at 15-40. Seriously? Come on. Huge favorites for this game. This should not even be close. Out. Deuce. There you go. Ooh, wow. Look at that serve. You can tell we got some juniors here, huh? That one was without those ball marks. Without those ball marks, it's really deceiving. Both of those look long. The second one, much longer than the first. And neither one gets called out. And we lose. We lose the first freaking set. Are you kidding me? This weak sauce team might not have a tactic suited to our 2 players. I don't know much about them. Up 3-2. Now 4-2. Getting in control of this second set. Looks like we will equalize here. It's set point.
15-40.
That one landed in. That one landed in. There's an actual ball mark for a change. Nice. Alrighty. Well, 4-6, 6-4. It's going to go to a decisive third set in this one. Surprised that we even got to this in the first place. We nearly break them in this first set, our first game, multiple times. Back and forth a lot. 1-1. And then we very, very quickly, very, very easily won that next game. But then they squeezed out another. And then we, again, very quickly, very easily with serve, win the game. So we seem to be in control of the match at the moment, but it's still 2 games all. Love 40. Break point. That serve got called in. Looked a little long. It was on the line, but it looked long. We get it. We get it. 3 games 2. And we're now on the front foot here for the remainder of this third set. Or hopefully for the remainder of this third set. 15 love. 30 love. 40 love. And we don't give it right back. We take it. 4 games 2. No need to break here, but it would obviously be nice if we could. Mostly now it's about holding serve, but we break anyway. 5 games 2, we're on the brink. On the brink. Definitely gave us a harder fought match than expected. That's out, 40-30. Another match point. That's out, just. Deuce. I'm missing those ball marks. That's an ace. Advantage. And there's a winner. Got it. Coming back from losing the first set, we take the next 2 comfortably in the third set, and that has made us top of the group. Following her long injury and seeing everything fall away where she was very happy and very comfortable, but while sitting out for months, her hobo just saw her rank fall away and is now very sad, very upset, and has been constantly injured. She wants to terminate the contract. This time I will say yes. Now, in last year's game, it never worked. Ever. I tried to terminate contracts many, many times, and they never did. But it's a new year. Maybe that's something that's been resolved, and we'll see. Will we have a vacancy now to replace? I'll wait until the end of the season to do so if that's the case. But her hobo and her constant troubles, I've had enough. I've had enough of that. I'm willing to see somebody else. enter. It also helps me with that sample size on whether I need to be approaching the devs regarding the constant injury problems plagued for everyone but your key created player. Final standings from the group phase. Czech Republic and China move on ahead of Japan, all going 2-1. Italy getting swept, but Japan, the only one who struggled against them, ends up finding themselves as the odd one out, and China at 31 progresses. Out of Group B, it's us. It's Serbia second. Sets being the difference between them and Argentina, so winning those couple of sets against us along the way, making a huge difference for them. In Group C, Romania and Germany come out on top. Number 6, number 4. No surprises there. And finally in Group D, it's Russia with the sweep, and then France at number 10 overall, going 2-1. Ukraine and South Korea each knocked out. Only one upset, only a single weaker one in China that's going to get through to the finals, making it pretty tough. We're only at number 5. We are not necessarily among the favorites. We found things difficult against a pretty weak opponent there, but we had one of the tougher groups with all 4 inside the top 16. Group A had 2 outside of the top 16. Group C had 1 way outside of the top 16 and then 1 just inside it. 2 firm favorites, though that's a tougher group in many ways than ours. And then Group D, only 1 inside the top, number 10. Only 1 inside the top 9, so easy for Russia. France, Ukraine offer a little bit of a challenge, and then a huge drop to South Korea. So in terms of the overall depth, 1 to 4, we had the deepest group. In terms of difficulty at the top, I think we probably had the second hardest group. Overall combined, average that out, 1.5. Maybe we had the hardest group stage. Maybe we had the second hardest. Either way, it was definitely one of the harder groups to get out of, and we got out quite comfortably. So for that, that's good. Our U.S. players, not great. None of them are in the top 5 in the junior rankings at all. Could be in for a challenge to win. But when I first looked at our group, I had low expectations. First looked at our 5 players and what was available to me, I had pretty low expectations. So to come out the way we did and move on comfortably and win our group is already better than what I expected. And now I'm looking at it going, hey, maybe we can do more. Not sure we're going to be a winner, but we definitely are headed for that next phase of the World Cup into the finals. That's going to do it for this episode, though. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.